Hey everyone, my name is Alden.
Drew.
And welcome to episode 2 of Super Meat Boy.
I love the grumpy face that the world has there.
Meat going in my head.
Kissy days. so what we're doing here, I'm gonna go back and grab an A+ on all the levels that I didn't get an A+ on. You may have noticed at this point that I've been kind of skipping over bandages that are out of the way. The bandages just take way too much time and effort to get, and I'm not gonna subject you guys to me dying 50 times just to get a bandage and finish the level.
Yeah, so unfortunately this isn't going to be a 100% run through. That being said, I think we're going to try going for all of the warp levels and whatnot, right?
Yeah, we're gonna get the warp levels. We're gonna get an A+ in light and dark world. So that is sort of the goal of this let's play, as it were. So this level I just did the wrong way. I'll show you how to do it the right way as soon as I start the level over again. But what you want to do is, instead of going through the tunnels and everything, you just want to hop up along the outside. So what just happened there, not to like blame the game or the controller or nothing, but there were a good number of times where my A button was just refusing to register for whatever reason. Might have been because of fraps. It didn't like running with fraps. It might have just been my controller's got a sticky A button. But I will say that I have played Super Meat Boy on the PC with a controller before, and I've not had problems with a controller being non-responsive. So
yeah.
I can't fault Super Meat Boy itself. It's just got to be something with my computer, or something with my setup doesn't like that.
It's just trying to process too many things at once.
Yeah, maybe. But pretty much any time you see me just like slide down a wall and you're wondering why I didn't jump, I was trying. I swear. That's what I'm trying to do right by you guys.
So that being said, there was one thing that I did while we were doing some research on this game. I did see a couple of posts here and there on the internet about how you've got the bandages, you've got the warp zones, you've got the A+s, and it's not I don't want to well, it's not possible to get the warp zone and A+ the level at the same time because it takes you to a new level. And for a lot of the bandages, it's not possible to A+ the level with the bandage because you have to go out of your way to get the bandages. So
yeah, the majority of bandages and A+ are pretty mutually exclusive. Yeah,
so that forces you to play the level multiple times, and I've seen posts saying that this would be artificial padding, just making the game longer without actually giving you more content. So I guess Drew, what are your thoughts on that one there?
So I really don't agree that this game has artificial padding. So going off of what you were saying about like having to do the levels 2 or 3 times, even if you manage to get an A+ and you need to get the bandage and the warp zone, these levels take you like 15 seconds to beat. And like, really, how much artificial padding does that add?
Yeah, that's a whole 15 seconds, Drew.
Yeah. But like we're talking, and like the whole getting a warp zone thing. So yes, that makes you play the first 5 seconds of the level over again that you were just playing, but it gives you 3 whole extra levels on top of that. So that's not artificial padding. That's just straight up content.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I'm of the same mind as you are there. Where I mean, it's just it doesn't feel like it's artificial padding. Artificial padding to me would be something like having to grind out in the same area. I'm gonna drop the MMO bomb here. I know I'm gonna probably start a flame war, but when you go and you get the quest in in your MMO of choice, hey, I need you to go out into this field, and
I want you to kill 6 snow moose.
Yeah, yeah. So you kill 6 of a certain enemy, or the worst offender being like, I need you to get X number of MacGuffins, and the MacGuffins happen to be a rare drop from one enemy that are like way out of the way. So you basically have to just travel to an area and then farm this dude for something that drops only 10% of the time. That to me is a more an example of an artificial padding.
Yeah, I feel like for MMOs, it's really easy to fall into that trap. And just to give you guys a scale of my sense of artificial padding, I played Final Fantasy XIV on release, so I understand the game has been greatly improved since then. That is not the game I'm talking about. When Final Fantasy XIV launched, there was practically no actual content. It was 5% story cutscenes and 95% grinding. The story missions would not actually get you any experience, because at the time they were still treating crafting and gathering as jobs that you could use to get through the actual story. So they needed to make sure that the story missions didn't actually involve combat, because combat wasn't something they forced you to do. So if you wanted to level up, you had to do these things called leave quests, which in and of themselves are a pretty cool idea, that there's just this NPC you can go to, gives you a randomly generated quest. It gives you something to do if you're just looking to spend like 5 or 10 minutes, get a quest, make some money, get a little experience. It's something that you don't have to just go outside town and just start whacking monsters if you need to grind out some experience or money or whatever. But when you make your entire game just repeating those quests over and over again, I think you done messed up.
Yeah, it's not something that you want to ever try, strive for. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard. I'd like to try and play devil's advocate and say, well, it could be construed as, artificial padding.
You could make the argument that if the game is about growing as a character and fighting monsters, then really giving you quests where your objective is to fight monsters, that's just telling you to play the game.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that I feel like Guild Wars 2 definitely has some quests that are just like, okay, Mr. Farmer Man, I'll kill your worms for you.
Yeah.
But I think they are better at making you feel like what you're doing is somewhat important to the world, and they certainly are very good about giving you a variety of things you can do. I'm just gonna paint all of these saws red with my blood. They give you a pretty good variety of stuff that you can do in order to do quests. And your story missions actually give you a really good chunk of experience, so you can almost just chain them together.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it to do that, absolutely, I would say. Yeah, I mean, I'm very much of the mind that the only time I should see farming in a game is if I'm playing Harvest Moon.
I can definitely agree with that one.
Yeah, so, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the whole farming aspect. I guess just to play devil's advocate to the people who, feel that, adding bandages and everything like that is a method of padding the game. I guess you could, in that, even though it's just a 15-second thing, it does force you to play the level over again, and on top of already having to, play it again every time you die.
Yeah, and I will say that artificial padding is a problem for games. It's not something that we should just ignore. It's definitely something as developers you want to keep in mind. As a gamer, it can really frustrate you, and you can lose gamers that way. There was a game, going back to MMOs now, but there was a game I played called Atlantica Online, And the reason I stopped playing that game is because the content just felt so extremely samey and padded. Like the game itself had a really cool game mechanic in that it was a turn-based MMO. So you had like your own party, for lack of a better term, of units you could put in like a 3x3 formation, and you'd issue them orders. You had like 60 seconds to issue orders, and then at the end of the 60 seconds the rounds would play out. You could actually form parties with up to 2 other people, so you could have, I think each person's party could have up to 6 people in it, so there could be a lot of stuff going on. It had some really interesting mechanics, and it was a lot of fun for a while. But then once you realized that every dungeon was the exact same formula, and that you run to this point and you fight every creature along the way, and then you go to the next floor, and then you fight all the rest of the things on that floor. And then every single quest, there were 2 different kinds of quests. There was kill this monster X number of times, and then there was get this drop from this monster X number of times.
Yeah.
So it was really the extreme lack of variety and content just made me feel like after I had gotten like halfway through the game that I had pretty much gotten everything I was going to get out of the game.
Yeah. Just as real quick aside, this is going to go back to anything we would have said about level design and how tight this is here. You'll notice that you can't slide down and get at Bandage Girl.
Yes, the last time I tried to slide down and just kind of hook into the left and pick her up, and that put me in a really rough spot. Once you fall down there, it's really hard to recover from that situation.
Yeah, and then to follow that up, you'll see that this is sort of tricky in that those 2 moving saw blades are moving at the same time, so you have to jump on the first one and then pause up there while simultaneously dodging that first saw blade. You then have to jump under that second saw blade. So that's
you either have to, or you could do what I just did there, which is just wait for the first one to go down and then back up a little bit before you try and make that jump. But like every single level up to this point has just been kind of like, okay, go! But this one forces you to just like sit there for a couple seconds and then like think about your strategy and then time it right. So like the Dark World levels really do just take everything to a completely different level.
Yeah.
When we were talking about talking points for the game and Light World versus Dark World, it was like, well, it's kind of like Light World's easy and then Dark World's hard, and it's like, well, I guess it's more like hard and harder modes.
Yeah, it's just like, regular crazy and then balls crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny, like the simple things they do to change this up. Having those things shooting the saw blades at you, and then having those things shooting the saw blades at you, and having saw blades running along the bottom there.
Yeah, it's like they don't add a whole lot, but the little things they do add just make it that much tougher.
Mm-hmm.
And these silhouette sections, I personally think they're really cool. They make it it's a little more challenging in that you can't really see the details of everything, but you can see enough of what's going on that it's not really an actual problem. I think it breaks up the visual style nicely. It's nice and refreshing.
So here's that spinning saw blade that we mentioned earlier, and you'll notice that Drew consistently now is going to jump over it pretty much at the start of the level. That's that great level design there, in that every time you start, it will automatically start that saw blade at the same spot.
Yeah, this is exactly what I mean when I'm saying sometimes this game design feels like clockwork. Like, you can just hit that arc perfectly, and you barely even, once you know it's there, you barely even have to try to hit it. It almost feels like a shortcut in some sense.
Yeah.
But it really does not feel like an accident. Like, that feels very purposeful, like they put that there for a reason.
Yeah, it's like step 1 of the puzzle.
Yeah.
another silhouette level. I mean, I like the silhouette levels, and that, you know, it adds that level. I wish they wouldn't have done blue background on white silhouette.
Yeah. Alright, looks like we're running up on time, so we'll catch you guys later.
See you.